Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. My name's Simon. This is Daily Bitcoin Price Action Analysis. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope you're all well and enjoying some of this lovely upside that Bitcoin's been providing us with. Before I dive straight into the juicy stuff, I just want to remind you I'm not a financial advisor, so this isn't financial advice. All right, so what I thought I'd quickly do to begin with is have a look at the weekly. Don't worry about all these crazy lines. They'll become clear shortly. Basically, the bottom red line there, you can see, is now my weekly support line. So it's moved up. I've moved it up to 52,000, give or take. And my target that I talked about yesterday is imminent by the looks of it. So that's pretty cool. And what's crazy, and I did not think 4 weeks ago that I would be talking about potential targets of the current all-time high on Bitcoin, but weekly or even probably daily closures above that weekly target. I mean, it's FOMO time, but it's definitely an option now. It's definitely an option. So I'll come on to lower time frames in a minute, but there you go. There's my weekly support. What was it again? 52,250 or something like that. 52,000, call it. We're rapidly approaching my first target for the higher time frames. And then there's only one other to go for based on previous price action, really. I mean, yeah, kind of 62, 63. But the bigger one is 66. Wow, crazy times. And you never know, if it gets up there might be a blow off the top. There might be wicks. There might be wicks up to crazy numbers. But you would expect some resistance on the higher time frames at the all-time high. Come on, just seems logical. So there you go. I also wanted to just check in on the momentum. So I talked about, a few weeks ago now, I talked about this weekly high on the RSI and how it would be significant if on the next move up, Bitcoin didn't get back above it, because that would give you weekly divergence on the RSI. It's right there now. It's right there now. So it doesn't need if the RSI gets a bit higher, there'll be no weekly divergence. And that would signify more weekly upside. Pullbacks, of course, but not big ones. That would, if the RSI gets above basically where it is now, which is 85, give or take, then you'd think more higher time frame upside, of course, with lower time frame pullbacks. So it's precarious. It's hanging in the balance there. But as it stands, there's no divergence. So that's good if you're invested or you're long. But I'm on a lower time frame, so I'm in and out of trades quite frequently. There's the daily. So you can see the weekly support corresponds to the daily support too. 1, 2, 3 horsemen. Oh, yeah. But the candle guys are going crazy for that. 4 hour. I put in, so I've redone my blue line. So that's the lower time frame. It's not so much of a channel, not so much of a range now. It's more of support resistance, which that's what a range is anyway. But you can't talk about a range when price is just going up, right? A range is sideways. So we've got some support resistance on the 4. I got the 4 hour coming in basically here. It's more obvious on the 15 minute, I'll show you, and the same there. And then I've got a funny dotted line here, which I'll show you on the 15 minute in a moment. But I just wanted to also reiterate the 4 hour divergence that I've been talking about for a while is close to being negated as well. So that's interesting too, because you could, there's still a slight divergence. So if the 4 hourly did make a local high here, there would be a ever so slight divergence from this high corresponding to here, this price action. But it hasn't pulled back, and therefore it's not a local high, and therefore this RSI can still go up. So I wouldn't say there's divergence on the 4 hour yet either, and I skipped over the daily for some reason. The daily, the daily hasn't got back up to 87, which was here on the RSI, but it hasn't put in a local high yet. So, there's still more upside. The RSI is higher than here, so there's no divergence to that area. So until this daily puts in a local high, and it's only going to do that when it probably gets back at least below this 47.6 region, 47.57.6 region, then it's just more upside. There is no divergence to play at the moment on the RSI. So if I come down to the 15, I'm talking a bit about momentum today because I thought it'd be a bit different. So even on the lower time frames, right? So even on the lower time frame, this RSI here, which corresponds to the top of this move at the moment, but it's a move in evolution. That's not a local high even on the 15-minute yet. That is now above where it was here. So there isn't even any divergence on the 15-minute. So it's looking good for more upside according to the momentum indicators. And if I now talk about support resistance lines quickly, you can see this is the top of the that I had yesterday at the top of the range, just corresponding to that wick high, and then these two preceding. Those precedings before. The two highs that occurred afterwards. And then there was a range break, which I managed to trade, which is good. Support on the lower time frames coming in at 57.5, just rounded up to the nearest 100, 57.5. There will be a range there, though, of course. So it's not an absolute number, but it's around about there. That red line there is the weekly target. Woohoo! Whether we get there this week or next week, I don't know, but it's looking good for more upside right now. This is just another support resistance line, which will be support if that is broken. And there's a mini one halfway between the two. And then you see I've got a little dotted line up here. And all that does is just corresponds to, let's get this on the screen here. So it just corresponds to that wick down. So for now, you can see it's still printing higher lows, even on the lowest time frame. I'm not drawing a trend line on yet. Excuse me. Because, there's not enough information, and it could very easily pull back to this area, and that wouldn't change anything, to be honest. That would be tradable, though, if you're on the lower time frames. However, shorting this kind of price action, even on the lower time frames, unless you're on like a minute or so, it's probably not a good idea. And so, you can have a stop. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'll probably have a stop loss around this area. If the stop loss gets broken by a wick, so be it. But I don't think I'd be shorting until I see some obvious lower highs and lower lows, even on the lower time frame. So I would just be stopped out of my current long, take the money, and then wait for a nice entry back into another long. And that's the way I'll be thinking about this price action for some time, I think, until the price action tells me to do something different. And I think I'm going to draw it to a close there. That's coming up for 10 minutes. That's long enough for me. So take-home messages. Can't see any obvious divergences yet on any time frames, guys, so probably a bit more upside. Where it stops, nobody knows, but we'll just follow the price action, do what it tells me, and that's what I'll do, and that's what I'll continue to do. If you've enjoyed today's chit chat, then I'd be so grateful if you could like and subscribe, and if you have, you know what, you'll see me here same time, maybe not the same time, roughly the same time, but definitely tomorrow. Take it easy. Have a great Wednesday. Bye bye.